of our water. Whenever these systems were designed in the 30s and the 40s, the legal process at that point did not take into consideration the environmental impacts. Keeping our wild and scenic rivers flowing up north, putting water back into San Joaquin to see if we can get salmon back up into the valley.
That water doesn't go to the farm.
That water doesn't go to the farm, and there are many that feel threatened.
Joe Del Bosque takes me for a drive across his farm along one of the local canals. In normal years, farmers would be allowed to take their allotted water.
We typically would get water from the federal government, but for 2 years now, we have got none. So any water that you see in that canal right now belongs to farmers that bought it from other farmers somewhere else in the state that were willing to sell us some of their water.
If farmers don't use the allowances they've been allotted in the past, they can bank them and sell them to others. And of course, this water is now a very valuable commodity.
Some of this water comes from rice farms in the north, and they will fallow their rice and sell us their water.
So they become water farmers.
Kind of, yes.
How much more does water cost now?
10 years ago, we were paying about $130 per acre foot. Today, we're paying, if we can find water, $1,300. So it's gone up 10 times.
That's a big rise in a very basic raw material.
It is. It's become our biggest cost in our crops.
All this means that farmers are having to make some big decisions not to grow crops, for example. 30% of the land on this farm is set aside or fallowed. A big brown blank field here. You're not proud of this, are you?
We had cantaloupes here. They don't return enough to pay for the water. And this field, even though you don't see anything, it has a drip system in it. We've invested in this field probably $70,000 in just this one field. This is a rented land. I'm paying a rent on the land. I'm paying for the drip system. I don't pay for anything.
How many people have you laid off already with 1/3 of the farms fallowed?
For our permanent people, our year-round people, we haven't laid off anybody, but in another month or two, we're going to start cutting back their hours. And the seasonal people that would come in and harvest our crops, we're not going to hire a lot of them back. It's a serious thing. The cantaloupe season is their best season. This is when they make the most money of the whole year, and a lot of them aren't going to have it.
I'm in a Mexican restaurant in a small town. I'm with
Shannon Mueller. I am the Director of Cooperative Extension for the University of California in Fresno County. Mendota is a very small agricultural-based community, and what you see here today with a virtually empty restaurant is indicative of what's going on in the community during this time of drought in the Central Valley.
Any guesses for unemployment here?
20 to 30%.
As high as that?
Yes.
That's a lot of a town not working.
Absolutely.
I'm looking for this restaurant. We made a bit of a mistake, went up the road, and there were people giving away food.
Right, people line up early in the morning with bags and boxes and little carts to carry at home, and they are dependent upon the generosity of others.
A few miles from Mendota in Dinuba, I come upon another queue, more people waiting for food parcels. Angie Garcia helps with the Food Link project in Tulare County.
There's people here who are working less hours, people who lost their jobs due to the drought. You know, they are blessed with this food because they're really in need of it. Here at this site, we normally serve 400 families, and we give out over 800 boxes of food.
What do you get from here?
Arroz, avena,
rice, beans, milk, canned food. I also go to churches where they hand out bread.
donde dan pan en las iglesias.
Do you have family?
Dos.
Yes, two. I have an 18-year-old and a 21-year-old. They're also not working because of the drought.
Will you go back to Mexico?
Sí, porque la renta no la vamos a
Yes, we can't pay the rent. I owe the landlord $300. He's planning to evict us.
The person I was looking for didn't have no water for his fields, so I got fired. I had to go. There was like about 50 of us working. It was one big old group. A bus used to come pick us up. Everybody with that crew don't have a job, and I'm not the only one. And you know, and the farmers, the ones that do have water, that do have like jobs for people, they can't just hire everybody. You know, we're hoping for a miracle actually.
Driving across the Central Valley, you pass vast tracts of empty, fallowed land. By contrast, there are also miles of orchards, oranges, peaches, nuts. Tree crops are expensive, they can take years to start fruiting, and they always need water. This is citrus country south of Dinuba. Tom Willenman and his cousin Guy are showing me their family farms.
This grove right here happens to be one of the oldest citrus parcels in Tulare County. It was planted in 1898. This was purchased by actually my father back in the late 50s.
So after 110 years or so, it still tastes good.
Yeah, it still tastes good, and we're going to make sure that this one lives for a lot longer.
It's almost impossible for fruit growers to cut back production to save water, as the trees will die if they aren't watered. But there are other options for some farmers, and they're expensive options. The Wallenman land sits on an underground aquifer, and they've always used some groundwater. Now they're drilling deeper to bring up much more. There's a new well there. What's it costing, the new well?
For the depth that we're going, which we're estimating 350 feet, but with this one we may go to 400, run about $65,000 to $70,000. That's just the well only, no pump in it yet or filters.
It's one of lots of wells you're drilling.
Yeah, cousin Guy here in the whole Wallerman complex, I think he's scheduled to drill about 13 wells, and I think we've completed 2 or 3, so we've got a ways to go. Some of them are replacing existing wells. Everything, because of the drought, is kicked in high gear. In other words, we're going to be doing in a year here, which we probably normally do in 5, 6, or 7 years. One of our main problems Guy is having here is